Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, of course, Carlito Santiago. And today, it was Halloween. But that doesn't mean that there will be any treats for the men and women of WWE. They still have to head into the ring and do battle just like every other week. So, what happened here? Well, I'm about to tell you. But before we do that, if you guys can please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, comment down below, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. Well, this first bit of action was pretty good. But before I talk about that, we gotta talk about the opening segment. Tiffany Stratton came to the ring and called out Jade Cargill for a fight. But Nick Aldis came to the ring and said the doctors haven't cleared her yet. Cargill came out and taunted the champion a little to get under her skin while security kept them apart. So, again, Nick Aldis is trying to hold Tiffany back so she doesn't re-injure herself so they have to cancel the match. They might cancel the match anyway, but who knows? They might, in this case, they will give the title to Jade Cargill in this point because Stratton's injured. But after a break and a few segments in the back, Ilja Dragunov was set to put his U.S. title on the line in an open challenge against Nathan Frazier. But before it could begin, Tommaso Ciampa blew right past Frazier and said that he didn't deserve a shot. Ilja told him to take a walk, which he did, but he did it too easily. So it felt like it would lead to something. So Frazier was going to be the one to be given the opportunity because, of course, Dragunov does not like losers, to which Ciampa is. Frazier tried to get an advantage immediately with a running knee, but the Mad Dragon was right back to his feet and put him in a corner for some chops. This was an interesting and exciting matchup because it felt so fresh. These two have only had two previous encounters. One took place in NXT UK in 2022 and the other one in NXT back in 2023. So this was their first match on the main roster together, which is great. Fast-paced, also had a few stiff strikes and fun spots. They worked very well and meshed their abilities together to put on, of course, a phenomenal opening. At one point, Frazier almost won with a Phoenix Splash, but it wasn't enough to keep the champion down. See, Dragunov was able to retain the title with a clean victory, which was surprising after it looked like they were setting up for Ciampa to interfere. He showed up after the match to attack Frazier, though, which he did. Backstage, we got a little scene of Dragunov holding back fucking both, teams. Of course, Johnny Gargano was there, and Ciampa and Frazier and Axiom. And then, of course, as Dragunov laid down his title, he found it in the hands of Tama Tonga, and the dragon was making noise. Tama Tonga was right back at it with the I don't know what the fuck that was, but I'm trying to, graded an A-, and you know what? I agree. I think the minus can come in for that little short, opening here. But overall, yeah, Frazier and Dragunov put on a great performance for this Halloween night SmackDown. R-Truth dressed up as Santa Claus and handed out some candy backstage. Jade Cargill was dressed as the Punisher when she arrived, continuing her Marvel references in her outfits. Then she showed up looking like Catwoman from Batman Return when the show was live. So a lot of different outfits she had in mind. Kit Williams took on Carmelo Hayes, which felt like a mid-card kind of match here, of course, which felt like kind of like just an average match. See, Elton John Prince, is still out with an injury, so aide Kit Wilson had to go it alone when he took on Carmelo Hayes. See, Wilson took control early by throwing his vest at Hayes before rushing him into the corner. He maintained his position for a little while, but once Hayes regained his composure, he began unloading on him. The Miz showed up and sent Hayes into the ring post while the referee was distracted, but Wilson was unable to capitalize on the moment. Hayes hit the first 48 right after for the win. This was short and predictable, and it had its moments. The Miz left his former protege down after hitting his skull-crushing finale, so the feud is far from over. But we really need to do something with Carmelo Hayes. We really need to move him in a babyface direction. Probably, since, Ilja Dragunov is, of course, the U.S. champion, Carmelo Hayes could get that babyface title run, or be the one to defeat Ilja Dragunov for the title. Possibly. Carmelo Hayes being the one to do it. They've had encounters in NXT, and their matchups are good. They're just waiting for that moment for Carmelo Hayes to build up as a babyface, which they're trying to do by using The Miz. So, that's great. Obviously, Tama Tonga had a quick moment backstage implying that he might be the next challenger. Moving on. Alexa Bliss took on her former best friend, Nia Jax. The former partners and tag team champions found themselves as opponents on Friday when Bliss stepped into the ring with Nia Jax. Jax hit Bliss from behind as she was handing her title to Flair, took control right out of the gates. She started throwing Bliss from corner to corner and hitting her with splashes against the turnbuckle. See, Bliss screamed in her face and tried to fight back, but Jax put her on her back with one shot. It took some time before Little Miss Bliss started getting in some real offense. The Queen watched as her partner was taking a lot of punishment. Jax came close to it with a Samoan drop, but Bliss was able to kick out at 2. This match followed the usual David Goliath formula, Jax being dominant all throughout the bit, and Bliss coming back as the, perfect underdog. Thanks to a distraction from Charlotte Flair, Bliss was able to steal the victory by knocking Jax off the middle rope and pinning her before she knew what happened. Great. Sami Zayn asked Aldis to be in the Motor City Machine Gun's corner tonight, but he was not medically cleared, so Aldis told him to sit this one out. And wouldn't you know it, of course, there were several segments involving Utah University throughout the show. Not only that, but there was, of course, what came next, which was that match. The MFTs versus the Motor City Machine Guns. And boy, am I kind of upset. Let me explain. The next matchup was Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin taking on Jeff Cobb and Tama Tonga in a tag team match that was set up earlier in the show during a backstage segment. Cobb used his significant size and power advantage to take control almost immediately. Shelley was isolated for a long time while, of course, Cobb and Tonga tagged in and tagged in and out to keep themselves fresh. Sabian wasn't able to get the hot tag until after the commercial break. But once he got it, he came in and started going at full speed to take on both opponents by himself. Sadly, for the Motor City Machine Guns, Sabian's burst of offense was too little, too late. Tonga got the win for this team after hitting, of course, what is known now as the cutthroat. And Tama Tonga adding insult to injury by coming in and chokeslamming Sabian while they forced Shelley to watch. Then, of course, we got Nakamura and Phoenix to try to come out and get some revenge from last week, but they didn't fare any better. Graves also referenced Keith Lee being called Bearcat Lee. It was quick and might have been obvious, but moving on. Chelsea Greenstone right gear was amazing. Anyway. They just, dominated, destroyed fucking the Motor City Machine Guns. They just fucking completely, destroyed them. And look at Tama Tonga's, he was working out and getting some weight up. But, of course, again, fucking, this was just, oh my god. This was just a slaughter of the Motor City Machine Guns. Think about when they first came in to now. They're just getting slaughtered. But to end our show, we had to do a contract signing before we got the final word. This show ended with a contract signing involving Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, which Aldis was out there to oversee in an attempt to keep the peace. Rhodes signed on the dotted line immediately, but McIntyre said he couldn't sign it because it was lopsided. See, Aldis said it was a standard championship contract, and threatened to take away the title shot completely. McIntyre called his bluff and said to get somebody else as he attempted to leave. Rhodes asked him to sit down and said he knew what Drew wanted. See, Drew McIntyre said, well, think about this. If I get disqualified and counted out, he keeps the title. But if Cody gets disqualified and counted out, he still keeps the title. It's called the champion's advantage for a reason. So, Drew McIntyre doesn't want the champion's advantage to be in this match, so he confirmed that McIntyre wanted to add a stipulation to his contract, stating if Cody Rhodes is counted out or disqualified, he would lose the title. So then it's on an even playing field. So now, if McIntyre gets disqualified or counted out, Cody wins the title. But if Cody Rhodes gets disqualified or counted out, McIntyre wins the title. Nobody has a champion's advantage. The American Nightmare said he was fine with it, so McIntyre signed. He was like, deal. Dude, give me the thing. They talked a little trash to each other and made a decent promo, and it got a bit personal because it led to Cody Rhodes beating on McIntyre, only for McIntyre to miss a near hit with Cody with the title. And, of course, McIntyre coming back in, claymoring him, and then putting him through a table to end the segment. Graded a B-. But really, what was the final word? Well, WWE usually takes advantage of episodes on holidays and makes the show feel like it has a theme. But this year's Halloween special of SmackDown just had a few costumes, and that was it. It didn't really go all out for Halloween. We got our usual 4 matches we get every week from the Blue brand, but only one of those stood out as special. The encounter between Dragunov and Frazier, probably the best thing on the card. Honestly, best on WWE matches we saw all week. They worked together to put on an entertaining fight that left both men with some bruises they will be feeling tomorrow morning. Or, well, now. It was the kind of match that couldn't stand next to any pay-per-view bout and hold its own. So, graded a B-, and I agree. I think this was an overwhelming SmackDown for what was least. Of course, we had a couple of good matches, good opening segments. So, obviously, Ilja Dragunov and Frazier was good. Carmel Hayes and Wilson, We had that tag team match that was Honestly, I really want to change the grade, but because of the way they make MFT stand out, or Solo's group stand out, it feels right. A couple of costumes here and there, but they didn't really feel like Halloween. Like, Bliss and Flair didn't even dress up for... I don't even think Bliss and Flair dressed up for Halloween. Nia Jax looked like a Prime bottle. Fucking, Cody was in his orange suit. Fucking McIntyre was all in black, of course. So there was nothing really good about this. But if you want to see anything right here, go check out this match between Nathan Frazier and, of course, Ilja Dragunov. It is something to watch. It's probably the best thing that you're going to see on the card. But yeah, overall is a B-, and we are going to be heading into Saturday night main event tonight on Peacock. And of course, happy November 1st. You guys, if you guys like this, let me restart that. What did you guys think of SmackDown? Let me know in the comments down below. I thought it was alright. Like I said, everything I just said is basically my opinion. Again, subscribe, drop a like, comment down below, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss this. Lewis will be here on Monday to give you what went down on NFL, of course, Sunday. And I will be back here Tuesday to give you the lowdown of what happened on what goes down on Monday Night Raw, of course, after Saturday Night Main Event. I will see you guys on Tuesday.